I wanted to show you how you can qualify your lead lists within Clay, so you can have better accuracy and relevance when reaching out to prospects, and why using old-fashioned databases like Apollo, SalesNav, Instantly, just by themselves, without using Clay or without using AI to enrich, is actually going to lead to so many of the people that you're reaching out to not being a right fit just because of the miscategorization of a lot of these databases. And so I'm going to show you how to actually fix that. So you can see a search that we've done here for SaaS businesses, right? So, CEO, all sorts of different job titles here. And then we removed like job titles that we don't want to, seniority levels, location, keywords, so things like software, technology, yada yada, etc. And then excluded keywords, put the company sizes in, right? And what we've got here, I mean, this is remaining, but what we've got here is maybe I think there was like 10,000 or 15,000 or something in the list, right? And you would do the same thing in Apollo. You would go and create an entire list and then export that, put that through verification and reach out to them, right? The issue with that is that the majority of your list, depending on who you're targeting and depending on how you actually build the list, you either have to become incredibly good at filtering with these databases, and 9 times, I mean, there will always be leads that slip through. You might have like 90% accuracy or something. There will always be leads that slip through, basically, that you're reaching out to that just are not a fit for what you're selling. And so what I found is the best way to actually find if they're a fit is by using Clay. And this is where Clay, I think, comes in and does really, really well at being able to actually filter and using AI to actually filter how and who you reach out to. So in this particular example, we're looking to target SaaS companies that do B2B. It makes no sense to target a company that, sure, they're a SaaS, but maybe they focus on B2C. Or, when you're doing the keyword selection here, they might have the keyword software in there for some reason, right? Whether that's in their SEO description, that's in their social media description, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, you realize actually once you put them through here, and you can obviously manually check this as well. Once you put them in here, you realize that a lot of the list is actually not who you want to be reaching out to, which is really interesting. And that's why I wanted to show you. If you follow these steps here, you'll actually get way more accurate lists, which means that your messaging and targeting will be way more on point, which means that your offer will actually be relevant to the people that you're reaching out to. And you'll have better response rates, more meetings booked, and less people marking you as spam. So the process or the flow here, and again, just to clarify, this can be also used for any other criteria that you have, but this is just in particular. We've got a list of like software tech companies, etc. And what we're trying to do is just understand, are they a B2B software company and do they actually do demos, right? Because ultimately what we're trying to do is reach out to people saying, hey, we can get you more demos and things like that, right? So I just want to share this like thought process and this workflow with you. So the first thing that we'll do, right, and this is obviously after you've verified the leads and everything like that, because there's no point in working on like companies and using credits or using like, tokens if you don't have their like email addresses, right? Unless you're running like a LinkedIn campaign, but for this in particular, we're using emails. So the first thing that we'll do is we will run a Zenro scrape. So in terms of the data that we actually have, we have like name, their email address, company name, obviously their like industry here, right? And industry is not a very good way of classifying because a lot of times in databases, I mean, even if you go on LinkedIn, for example, you might have like a recruitment company that classifies themselves as a software development company, right? So like industry is not a very good indicator because they're a lot of times within databases are miscategorized. Even in LinkedIn, they're miscategorized. And if they're miscategorized on LinkedIn, it's like Chinese whispers. Like it just gets worse and worse as you move away from that original, like single source of truth, if that makes sense. Keywords are a little bit better, but we usually just leave them. But for some reason, these will, for example, like pull, right? Like if you're using databases, and again, all of this crosses over into Apollo as well, but if you're using databases, it will pull keywords that maybe aren't like that are in their SEO description and so on. So what's happening is then you're having a list of, say, you're reaching out to like 1,000 or 3,500 in this case. Like there's going to be a large percentage of those that just quite literally are not a fit for you, right? And that is why your spam rates go up, and that is why you struggle to get responses and your response rates are low. So again, this is what we do. Run a Zenro scrape, right? And what we're doing here is we're pulling information from their website, right? So we pull all of this info, so body text. The way we do it, by the way, we have our own API key. You can get, I think it's like really cheap, it's like $60 or something for 250,000 URLs that you can scrape, way cheaper than doing it with credits with Clay, just FYI. So you can see it will like pull the body text as the body text of the website. So all the stuff that's listed on the main page of the website. And it will also pull the description as well for certain companies, right? And this is like what they've got in the SEO description now, or what they've at least put on their website. Now, this is obviously the most up-to-date thing that you have, whereas with just using the database, it's might not get updated, or it might be wrong, or something's wrong with it, and so it classifies as a fit, but it's not actually a fit after you do the steps. Obviously, it works for some, doesn't work for others. Like for example, here there might be some errors here and there, but that's just because the site is like offline or timed out or something. So then what we're doing here is we're then putting it through a GPT, right? And we're using GPT 4.0 mini, and we're basically saying using the inputs, and then we'll take the body text and we'll take the description. The reason why I've got it turned off is because some companies won't have the description, and if you have it turned on, it will basically only run if it's on, and it'll say like the input is missing. So this is basically saying if it has it, great, still run. If it doesn't have it, that's fine as well, still run. As long as it's got the body text, it will run, right? And we're basically saying analyze what this company does and define if they're a B2B SaaS company, right? We're only wanting to reach out to B2B SaaS companies. You can take this and you can do it in whatever way that you want it to for whatever's relevant to you, but that's the same principle. B2B SaaS company, and then I actually just used GPT to say define a B2B SaaS company, took that copy, right, or took that text here, right, for example, bam, and then I quite literally just put that in here. If they don't fit the description, output, or if they do, sorry, output this. If they don't, then output this, and then don't output anything else, right? Really, really simple. If you want to go a step further, you can add examples of what this looks like, but I think it's actually been really, really accurate. And don't get me wrong, I've only run it on 20 rows, but we could run this across the whole thing. Normally what I do is I run maybe 50 to 100 rows and then check those manually. And then if there is a, say, 90-95% hit rate, and most of them are good, then I'll run that for the rest of the table, right? But I don't do that until I've built out the workflow, like all of the different steps. And at the moment, we're sort of tweaking, testing things and so on. But A, I'll do that, and B, I'll only run on a certain amount, but I make sure that it's enough data to basically see, is this going to work if I do it across the entirety of the table and all of the data that I've got here, as opposed to running it, wasting credits and realizing a lot of it is wrong and then having to redo it, and it's an absolute pain and it'll take a long time to do because you have to wait for things to run and then you realize it's wrong and so on and so forth. Trust me, been there, done that, don't want to do that. So you can see here, it's actually pretty accurate. So if I bring the website and we click on it here, right, and again, this is all. So all of these leads, I mean, again, they're from Instantly here, but and we're testing this out as a data source to see how it is. But this could be Apollo, this could be anywhere else. Like it doesn't really matter. It could be Sales Nav. Like it doesn't matter. Whereas what I'm saying here is that these databases usually will miscategorize a lot of leads, even though you put in like all the keywords, all this kind of stuff, and you need to now, because what's happening, because higher spam rates, because of all these issues with deliverability, it's about having the most relevant list with the most relevant offer to that list. So if you have 100 prospects that you reach out to, but 50 of them aren't actually B2B SaaS, and you're trying to sell something that helps B2B SaaS, like it doesn't make any sense to reach out to the people that aren't, right? Even though in the database, when you export it, there's going to be a lot more. So, so you can see here, if I open up a few of these, right, and we've got this one here that's like B2B SaaS, not a fit, not a fit, not a fit, B2B SaaS, not a fit, not a fit, B2B SaaS, and so on and so forth, right? So if we open up a few here and we kind of just actually manually check them and see what they are, right? So this one here, this first one says not a fit, right? This is convenience service departments, right? How this is turned up in a software search, I'm not sure, right? But you would be reaching out to this person with a message that might be saying that you can help them with XYZ that's to do with B2B SaaS, and they're not a B2B SaaS. Therefore, increasing the likelihood of you getting marked as spam, because that is quite literally just not relevant to the person, whoever you reach out to at this company. They don't care, right? So then there's the second one, which is watching that, right? So you can say, see the platform, right? So immediately, anything that has a word platform, right, And bear in mind here, we've also included platform, right? So, like we're defining or we're understanding, okay, cool, this is actually like a bit of a better fit, right? They don't have like pricing, they don't have super low pricing, it's not B2C, right? You can see here targeting like New York Post, case studies, and so on and so forth. Get started. It's just another way of saying demo button, right? Basically book a demo, right? Ready to transform, get in touch, basically book a demo, right? So this is a B2B SaaS, right? Then we have, so let's close this one. Let's see this one here, 3dlook.me. Right, cool. AI 3D powered mobile body scanning technology. Cool. Tech, SaaS, that kind of space, that kind of area. This is all good. And then if we go on to, for example, pricing, right? They have $4.99, $9.99, but then they also have custom plans, right? And custom plans, that's what we want, because if we're trying to sell something and it doesn't make sense, like if we're bringing them customers and they are charging $50 a month, it doesn't make any sense for them ROI wise, right? Better ways of marketing and doing and different channels that you can use, but they have custom plans, which means that they can afford the services, right? And this is only doable if you were to do this manually, or, which is why AI is so useful now, because you can actually just check this at massive scale. Request a demo, let's talk, right? So this is a good fit, for example, right? And it got it correct. It says B2B SaaS. That is a B2B SaaS. Right, then we have another one here that on the surface, like polyart.io, on the surface, anything that's usually .io is a technology or software company, right? But it's not. And it got it correct because it says here, not a fit, right? And if we click into it, UK-based game production studio, right? So again, it's doing a pretty good job. And you can check obviously all the rest of these, and you can check them manually, and that's what I've actually done, but it's actually really, really accurate, right? And to take it a next step further, then actually just to add to that, what's great about this is now we can filter the list by just companies that have B2B SaaS, that are B2B SaaS, which means that now instead of, sure, we'll reach out to less people, right? But instead of just reaching out to like thousands of prospects that are not a fit, we're actually just defining it. And there are different ways of going about this, but this is a really efficient way because you're using it really fraction of a cost. You're able to take an immense data source, put it into here, and then filter out all the ones that are actually not a fit, right? And it'll do it at like a good accuracy rate, like 90 to 95%. Okay, which means that instead of reaching out to loads of people that aren't a good fit, you're reaching out to pretty much everyone who is a good fit, because you filtered it down, because you've scored them, because you understand that these are the right people to reach out to, right? And you've done it all automatically. A little bit of manual work at the start to make sure it's good and quality control it, but then all automatically afterwards. So what I've done as a next step now is I also just want to double check, do they have like pricing on their website? Do they have a request a demo, right? And if they do have pricing, do they have like custom enterprise pricing, right? So for example, here, let's look at like all the ones that say not a fit, no pricing available, right? And that's actually perfect because there will be like some kind of B2C, or they just won't be the right fit. They're not a like B2B SaaS company, which we are looking for here. So if we go to this one here, yes, pricing found, custom pricing available, demo section available, right? And I've basically, what I've done here is I've prompted Clayagent to say, visit the website, answer these questions, structure it like this, and then like here's just some extra notes and only do this, right? And then a GPT-4o mini again. So it's like super cheap to do this. So you can see here, yeah, pricing available, custom pricing found, and demo section available. And again, if we go onto the page here, right, and I know I showed you this one before, but there is a pricing section. They have custom pricing, and they also have request a demo, right? So if you were to do this manually for 3,400 leads, this would take so long. You now need to just do it on a small section, build the workflow for a select few, double check that they're correct, and then run it on the rest, which will take you a fraction of the time, of course, a fraction than getting someone to actually do that, right? And it's also a waste of time to do that if you were doing that manually. Like, sure, the accuracy rate with AI is a little bit less, but the value add of being able to do it so much quicker and so much cheaper than having someone do that is way better, in my opinion, and just way more efficient overall. And this is where AI comes in, because it allows you to score and do a lot of this research that you would have had to have done manually before, at a way cheaper rate, and more efficiently and quicker, right? So yeah, you can see that it's just now what we would do is we would then move on to the next stages and next sections and so on. And I'm playing around with this at the moment, but um, we can then run conditional formulas. So if they are not a fit, and then they won't go through. But if they are a fit and they're a B2B SaaS, then they'll go through and they'll go through to the next stages. And that means that we can then personalize the emails to all the ones that are B2B SaaS and make them really relevant and specific to what that company does, because all we've done is basically been able to scrape the website and get the information from the website. If we want to take it next step further, we could enrich for even more. So we could find, do they have open jobs? What's their LinkedIn looking like, and so on and so forth. But this is just a really simplistic way. Pull the data from the website, get AI to analyze it to tell us a little bit about what is actually on the website without having to do it manually and spend hours doing it or pay someone to do that. So you pull you get your time back and are able to do it more efficiently. So I wanted to show you, this is how you would qualify and basically filter out good fit accounts from like a big database or from like a bigger lead list that you might get from like an Apollo, in this case, instantly, and so on and so forth, and filter out the ones that we don't want to actually target just by doing some very simple AI prompts that hasn't taken very long at all. And you could run it through the entire list in honestly probably like half an hour, and you'd be able to have a list of, I would say, like 1,000 or so that you can then reach out to. So that are really, really, really good fits, right? It's taking you a fraction of the time, cost you a fraction of the amount of what it used to have to do this. So I hope this was useful. And I hope I showed you how you can basically remove the bad fit accounts, basically. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.